Mock Draft 2.0. Play along. Who will your team draft in April? With a bold trade, the Carolina Panthers now have the first pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. You only make a trade like this for a future franchise quarterback. In my opinion, the pick comes down to either CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. I'm going with CJ Stroud. Just a hunch. The former NFL quarterback Frank Reich, who's now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, prefers Stroud. Whoever Carolina does not take will be the Houston Texans pick at number 2. Now, Will Levis and Anthony Richardson could be the guy, but I got Bryce Young to Houston at number 2. I would be shocked if Arizona actually has the third pick come April. But no trade has been made as I am making this video. There are no trades in this mock draft, and I wouldn't be surprised if come April if quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3, and 4 in this draft. Either Will Anderson or Jalen Carter will be the first non-quarterback off the board. My pick for Arizona at 3 is Will Anderson. He will come in and have an instant impact as a day 1 starter for the Cardinals. Indianapolis at 4. I am firmly convinced we'll still take a quarterback. Who will first-time head coach Shane Steichen like more? Coming from Philadelphia with a dual threat quarterback like Jalen Hurts leads me to believe the pick will be Anthony Richardson. There is no ceiling on Richardson's potential, but I don't see him as a day 1 starter. If Richardson is the pick, it'll be interesting to see when or if he even plays year 1. Seattle at 5 takes Jalen Carter. To me, if Carter is available at 5, this will be the pick. Seattle's run defense was absolutely horrid last year, taking the best defensive tackle and maybe the number 1 player overall. Just makes sense here. Lions fans, I am warning you right now. I'm throwing a massive curveball at 6. My pick is Bijan Robinson, running back out of Texas. I keep hearing you don't take a running back in round 1. I don't believe that. This video is being created Monday night, and even if the Lions do re-sign Jamal Williams, I still like Robinson to go to the Lions at 6. This is a special player, and I got a feeling Dan Campbell loves this kid. With Jimmy G signing with the Raiders, it does make me wonder what Vegas will do at 7. I'm sticking with Will Levis still being the pick. This team has a lot of holes, but if you have a franchise quarterback available and you're picking at 7, you take your quarterback. The Atlanta Falcons at 8. I have taken Keon White, defensive lineman out of Georgia Tech. White reminds me of Cam Jordan from the Saints. New defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen's from the Saints, and even after signing defensive tackle David Onyemata, also from the Saints, you still got to improve on 21 sacks last year. That's why White is the pick. The Chicago Bears, after the big trade with the Panthers, now have pick number 9. I'm making this video after day 1 of free agency where the Bears made some big time moves and signed several players. I'm also convinced the Bears will continue to add to this team via free agency, but where everything sits after Monday, I got Chicago taking Peter Skornonski, the offensive lineman out of Northwestern. The way things are today, I can see Skornonski being the day 1 starter at left tackle, or you can move him inside. Chicago needs to improve their offensive line, and Skornonski is my highest rated offensive lineman, so take him at 9. I could easily see Philly trading down from here. However, no trades in this mock draft. Philly could do a lot of different things, but I'm going to go with Devin Witherspoon, cornerback out of Illinois. Traditionally, Philly doesn't like to start rookies day 1, but Witherspoon might be the exception. If this is the pick, I bet he will start day 1 for the Eagles. Tennessee at 11, I got taken Paris Johnson Jr., offensive lineman out of Ohio State. Even after signing Andre Dillard, I like Vrabel dipping into his alma mater. Johnson could play inside, but I think he ends up being the starting left tackle day 1. Houston at 12 gets a treat. Tyree Wilson, the defensive end out of Texas Tech, falls to Houston at 12. Every year a player will fall in the draft, and the Texans love drafting players from the state of Texas. Not only that, the Texans need defensive line help, so it ends up being the perfect pick. I actually wouldn't even be surprised if Wilson falls in this draft if Houston tries to trade up to get the Texas Tech defensive end. As I am making this video, the Jets hold the 13th pick in the draft. I fully expect Aaron Rodgers will become a Jet soon. This pick might belong to Green Bay once this happens. However, as I am making this video, the Jets still hold the 13th pick in the draft. I have that pick being Broderick Jones, the offensive tackle out of Georgia. Whoever plays quarterback for the Jets will like this pick. I expect Jones to be the day one starter at left tackle for the Jets, no matter who the quarterback is. New England is next at 14, and I fully expect the Patriots to trade down in this draft, but again, there are no trades. I got the pick is Cody Mock, offensive lineman out of North Dakota State University. Mock can play multiple positions, which is a big part of the reason I like this pick here. Green Bay is next at 15. No matter who plays quarterback, I got offensive line being the biggest priority. You can go in a few different directions, but I'm taking Darnell Wright out of Tennessee. In my opinion, this is a plug and play at right tackle. And again, you can do a couple different things, but Wright is a day one starter with Pro Bowl potential as a rookie. Washington at 16, I think will take their highest rated corner here. I have that as Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon. Gonzalez should really be off the board by now, so Washington gets a steal in round one and a day one starter. We are halfway through the mock draft. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget, drop a comment below with what your team is going to do in this draft. Now, on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh at 17, I have them taking Osiris Torrance, guard out of Florida. In my opinion, this is a plug and play player. He will help both the running game and the passing game day one. Don't be surprised if this is not only a day one starter, but an all-pro player as a rookie. This is one of my favorite players in the draft, and he's going to be a stud in the pros. Detroit is back at 18, and I got them taking Joey Porter Jr., corner out of Penn State. This is my number one corner. I love long physical corners. Now, he may not start right away, but he will contribute immediately. He will play on special teams and sub packages right away. Tampa Bay could do a variety of different things here. They could also trade down, but there are no trades in this draft. Right here at 19, I got them going best player available, and that is Nolan Smith out of Georgia. In this defense, you got to get after the quarterback. Smith may not start day one, but he will contribute on third down immediately. Seattle picks again at 20. I got them going Myles Murphy, edge rusher out of Clemson. Now, Murphy's more of a defensive end than an outside linebacker, and even though Seattle is switching to more of a 3-4 defense, Murphy's value at 20 is too much for Pete Carroll to pass up. Here, you just take the best player and make it fit in this situation. The Los Angeles Chargers pick at 21. I got them taking Kalia Cansey, defensive tackle out of Pittsburgh. Now, before Brandon Staley took over as head coach of the Chargers, he was the defensive coordinator with the Rams. If I'm Brandon Staley, I talk about former Pittsburgh defensive tackle Aaron Donald every single day. If Cansey is even a fraction of Aaron Donald, you got something special. Baltimore is next at 22. I got them taking Alabama defensive back Ryan Branch. Baltimore loves Bama players, so this is no surprise. The versatile Branch will line up all over the field for the Ravens defense. Minnesota at 23 is interesting. They could go in a variety of different directions. I could see Minnesota trading up or down, and they could also draft at several different positions. My pick is going to be Jackson Smith-Njigba, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. Jacksonville at 24. I got taken Georgia corner Kelly Ringo. 2 years ago, Jacksonville took another Georgia Bulldog corner in Tyson Campbell. That worked out really well. Why not tip back into the Georgia talent pool again? Next is the New York Giants at 25. I think the Giants take a wide receiver here. Whoever the Giants have as their highest rated wide receiver will be the pick. In my opinion, that's Jordan Addison, the wide receiver out of USC. He has all the tools to step in and be a day one starter for the Giants. Dallas is next at 26, and for this pick, I actually think the Cowboys will try to trade up for this player. In this mock draft, they luck out because he will fall all the way to 26, and that's Dalton Kincaid, the tight end out of Utah. I firmly believe the Cowboys are going to target Kincaid in this draft and make a move up for this offensive weapon. He really isn't a tight end, but more of a big wide receiver, and he will have a major impact right away for the Dallas Cowboys. Buffalo is next at 27. I originally had this pick as Antonio Johnson out of Texas A&M. This is one of my favorite players in the draft, but when free agency hit, I changed my pick. The 27th pick in the draft will now be Trenton Simpson, linebacker out of Clemson. The speedy Simpson will replace former starter Tremaine Edwards, who left in free agency. While he doesn't have Edwards' size, he is faster and will be an immediate starter for the Bills. Cincinnati is next at 28 and could take the before mentioned Antonio Johnson. However, my pick is Deonte Banks, the corner out of Maryland. After Banks' awesome combine, I went back and watched more and more film. Banks is big, physical, and fast. He is raw, but has massive upside. Next is the Saints at 29. I got them taking Lucas Van Ness, the defensive lineman out of Iowa. Even though he didn't start in college, he may start day one for the Saints. I love Van Ness's upside and think the Saints could get a steal late in the first round. We got Philly again at 30. I want to put Brian Brees, the defensive tackle out of Clemson here. Instead, I'm going to throw a curveball. I got Emmanuel Forbes, corner out of Mississippi State. Yes, 2 corners in round 1. Witherspoon and Forbes can play both inside and outside. Both are day one ready, and keep in mind that Kansas City Chiefs played 3 rookie corners in the Super Bowl, and that worked out well for Kansas City. Finally, we have the Chiefs at 31. I fully expect the Kansas City Chiefs to get creative in this draft. They have 11 total picks, and I do not expect them to draft 11 players. The Chiefs could trade up or down in the first round. The only thing I know is that Kansas City probably will not pick at 31 come draft day. There are no trades in this mock draft, so I have Kansas City taking Quentin Johnston, wide receiver out of TCU. Johnson goes to the perfect team where he will not have to play right away. The 5th-year option works for the Chiefs as wide receiver salaries are increasing every season. If you want to see more, click on either link to see a 3-round mock draft. And don't forget, I go live Friday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hope to see you there soon.